This is my character sheet from my screenwriting class. Let's start with, here's what's at top, character name. You may think that would be a simple one, but since be wise or best to create a character name that is meaningful and sensible. It isn't just one of those easy ones isn't just one of those easy ones for a character name. Since you want something, be wise to create something that is meaningful and sensible. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were named by Splinter the Rat. They were all named after his favorite artists, which were all Italian Renaissance artists, so all their names are logical in that way. And there's age. If you know the information about your character, that's not going to be a challenging one. Occupation, also not likely to be a challenging one. Question, then there's one, what is the big want in your character's life? And that's going to force you to think. Maybe it's going to be related to the movie. Maybe it's going to be related to the movie. What do you know about your character that he or she doesn't know about him or herself? That's going to be one that's going to force you to think, because you're going to know it, but he or she isn't going to know it about themselves. And as I recall, my professor said there really wasn't a limit to this one, so you could have 1, 5, a dozen, over a dozen, whatever amount of number it is. Third one, children. Again, if it's a no, then it's a simple one. If it's a yes, then it goes into detail with you're going to have to describe them. If yes, describe his or her appearance. Again, that's one that it's not a simple yes or no. You're going to have to give details, which most likely is going to explain why might be part of the which is going to explain why they're the kind of person that they are, possibly because of how they're raised, by what specific parents, what kind of parents. Professional goal. Again, that's going to be one that's going to force you to think. Biggest regret. Again, that'd be another one that's going to force you to think. Biggest secret. Another one that is going to force you to think with, could be something that going to be the biggest secret is, no doubt it's going to be something that they don't want other persons to know. And highly possible that multiple persons, or maybe only he or she knows about that secret. Besides also God. Number 8, what is the most politically incorrect thing about this character, which is another way of saying I don't doubt at all that's another way of saying what is their biggest flaw. Again, that's another one that's going to force you to think. It's what is his or her worst flaw. And if it's a peer of good character, such as similar to same as Superman or Goku, etc., it's still going to challenge you to think of, they might have some, if they don't have something about, maybe they might have some flaw. With Superman, it's constantly he's the optimist and constantly wants to look at the glass as half full, which is easy to it's easy to think that he is going to have maybe a delusional view on things. Spouse, or number 9, spouse or significant other. Again, that'd be if they're married. If not, then nothing to say, and it doesn't say describe him, but or her, but maybe we are supposed to describe that person. Secret romantic interests. Again, that's another one that's gonna force you to think as far as what's the person's name and relationship to that person, along with do they know that he or she exists. Enemies, again, that's looks like it's just another one that doesn't ask. It asks for enemies, but it doesn't ask for details. So list those enemies, if any. Number 12, best friends. Again, let's list them if there is any best friends. Hobby. That'd be an easy one of just name it or name hobbies, his or her hobbies. One that forces, and then describe his or her hands. This is going to be one that where you're required to give details about the character. Does he or she drive? And if it's a yes to that one, then describe his or her car. Again, one that you'd have to provide details on. If yes, if he or she drives. What does she eat for breakfast? Again, there's not much. That would be one that kind of forces you to think if you don't have him or her eating cereal for breakfast like most persons. But other than that, it's not going to be one of those hard ones to give the answer to, compared to what's the most politically incorrect thing about this character, or does describe his or her car, which forces you to give detail, or describe his or her appearance, which also it's one of those ones where you have to give details. Allergies, again, just another one of those ones where you just have to list, if any, allergy or allergies. Describe his or her home. Again, that's another one you're going to have to provide details about. And those are all the questions on this character sheet. As you can see, there are simple ones that are similar to yes or no questions where you just have to list something, and there are other ones where if yes to something, or it's not a yes or no question with what is the professional goal, or describe his or her appearance, which isn't a question, but still you have to give details about, or what does, if yes, does he or she drive, describe his or her car. But I got no doubt that is a great worksheet. It is a great worksheet if you're writing any fictional story, or if you just want something for your fan fiction, whatever it is. But as you can see, there are ones where you have to provide details, and then there are simple ones where you have to provide detail. I mean, those aren't the simple. The simple ones are ones where you just have to list things or persons, etc. And then there are ones that I think most persons would agree that'd be more interesting and terrific and challenging, with ones where you have to list details, including the ones that make, which are going to be the ones that make you think, including what most likely the one most politically incorrect thing about this character, which is again another way of saying what is their worst flaw or biggest flaw. And that is my character sheet, which I got from my screenwriting class. Highly possible that you could get this all copied down, and if not, maybe you don't have to copy all this down and be available on the internet.